Good morning.
Good morning.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. So in the last month, I've been inspired by Dogen's writing. It's Hotsu Mujoshin, and that's uh, arousing the supreme mind. And Dogen wrote Arousing the Supreme Mind, the fascicle. He wrote it at Kipoji, and Kipoji is a temple that he stayed with or stayed at before or actually during building Eiheiji. So and actually two years ago, I took a pilgrimage to Kipoji and to Eiheiji with a friend, and we actually the total trip was 5 days in Japan, and that included departing Japan and then arriving in Japan. So it was 3 days on the ground. So it was a pretty quick trip. So of course we went to Suzuki Roshi's home temple in Yaizu, Shizuoka, and then the next day, then we took the bullet train to Eiheiji and then spent the night. And then the next day, we woke up early, and then someone drove us to from Eiheiji. You have to hike then to Kipoji, which is in the mountains, and the international department head. Taiken Yokoyama Roshi, he drove us to this train stop in the middle of a field. So he said, oh yeah, you just get out and then wait for the train. And then the train will take you from this small stop then to the foot of Kipoji, in which you have to hike up. So it was a very small train stop, and we waited there. And the train came, and then we got in the train, and we were sitting in the train, and we uh, we could actually see the mountains get smaller, and it looks like that we were going the wrong way because Kipoji's in the mountains, but then the mountains were getting smaller. So it dawned on us that we were lost. And so we tried to ask, I guess, the conductor. Of course, I don't speak Japanese, very little, and then he said, like, get off, you know. So the train stopped, and then we ended up getting off in this even smaller train stop, and it was in the middle of nowhere, and the platform, you know, for the train was probably like like 8 feet, on both sides. There's a track going to the mountains and then track going away from the mountains. So we got out, and then we just actually sat at this train stop, and the mountains look very far away, but at the same time we were waiting, and we actually didn't talk to each other at all. And there was something that was very we were waiting, but it's not like we wanted to return or get to the mountains. We were just waiting, and it was very fresh, and it was very spontaneous, and there's a quality of being lost, but not knowing that we were there. And I think we were there, because there was something that was wondrous, that happened, and I really remember that. So of course we got on the next train that came back, and then we went to the foot of the mountain. The mountains, seeing the mountains, seeing the mountains from afar is actually liberation or nirvana itself. So seeing it from afar is actually, there's something that happens. The mountains or the trees in which we see are actually close, but we see them from afar. So it's like waiting at the train stop, but it's very intimate and also very close. So it's so close and also so wondrous and so mysterious that we only see it afar. Conventional way of seeing is from afar. But when we were at the train stop experiencing this, there was no goal, but however there was an intention, or there was a deep aim that no longer existed. So in every instant that we come back to our life, the mind is the moon, stars, and the sun, and the mind actually is all things. So it's a returning, and it's something that happens when I don't even want to say when you return. It is when you return, but it isn't when you return. Something becomes alive, or there's but what is it that becomes alive, or what is it that becomes this becoming? And I think we we lose sight of this. We lose sight of this wondrous uh, capability. I don't want to say that, but it's the arousing or the arising. It's a joy, or it's an excitement. It's not an excitement from here, but it's an excitement, and it's a vibrancy from life itself that comes up. So it's an arising or an aspiring. Um, and Yesterday I was talking to my father, or Roshi, um, and we were talking many things about the Zen Center, and the pandemic and opening, and um, we could change it back, maybe change it back. Um, but there's the phrase of that I've heard many people use now. It's I can see like the light at the end of the tunnel, and uh, Roshi was saying, oh yeah, but the light, the light is here. So we always look again at the end, but do we really see where we are right here and right now? And we are actually the light, or we are actually the tunnel itself, or we are the goal. And at the same time, when we are only in our conditioned way of being, we fumble through life in the dark, breaking things or using things, killing things, or killing life, killing yourself. So we skip and pass this quality of energy that is released, or this arising, or this becoming. And so where does it all go? Sometimes we can feel it, and then sometimes we cannot feel it. But where does it all go? And I don't even want to say, how do you get it back? A lot of people say, well, I had this good experience, or it's waiting at the train stop, but how do I get back to the train stop? Or how do I have this good experience again? But that is our practice. It's arriving at the train stop, and it's also departing from the train stop. It's seeing the mountains, and then it's also seeing the mountains as they are, or they get smaller, or they get larger. So it is about examining actually all parts of our life in this way. So it's examining how you shop at the grocery store. It's examining very closely how you work on the computer, how you talk to people, how you move a rock, how you see, or how you close your eyes, how you go to bed. So it's our daily activities that as practitioners then we establish a foundation in which then the arising or the aspiring of life itself becomes, I don't want, you could say a platform, but it becomes then the path that you carve. So it's not the path of the thinking mind that we carve, of this and that, but it's a deep way in which now we live our life. So we live our life being satisfied with drinking a glass of water, being satisfied with its coldness or how it feels. We're satisfied when we drink maybe a cup of tea and we become warm inside when it's cold outside. Let's see. So it's to take in such truths and then to sit a Buddha and become a Buddha is called the arousing of the Supreme Mind. In general, in regard to causes of and conditions of establishing the Bodhi mind, we do not bring the Bodhi mind from elsewhere. We establish the mind by taking up the Bodhi mind itself. To take up the Bodhi mind means to take a stalk of grass and to make a Buddha, or to take a tree without roots and to make a sutra. It is to serve sand like a child gives sand to an adult. It is to serve sand to the Buddha or to serve rice water to the Buddha. It is to offer a ball of food to living beings or to offer 5 flowers to the Tathagata. To practice a bit of good at the prompting of another or to be cajoled by a demon into doing prostrations to the Buddha are also the establishment of the Bodhi mind. It is not that, it is to know that a home is not one's home, to forsake one's home and to leave home, to go into the mountains and practice the truth, and to do devotional practice and Dharma practice. So it is to build Buddhas and to build stupas. It is to read sutras and to be mindful of the Buddha. It is to preach the Dharma to an assembly. It is to search for masters and research the truth. It is to sit in the full lotus posture. It is to make a prostration to the 3 treasures. And it is once to call the names of the Buddha. The causes and conditions of the 80,000 such Dharma aggregates are in every case the establishment of the mind. Some people have established the mind in a dream and attained the truth. Some have established the mind in drunkenness and attained the truth. Some establish the mind and attain the truth amid flying flowers and falling leaves. Some establish the mind and attains the truth amid peach blossoms and green bamboo. Some establish the mind and attain the truth in the heavens above, and some establish the mind and attain the truth in the sea. In all cases, in the state of having established the Bodhi mind, the Bodhi mind is further being established. In the oneness of body and mind, the Bodhi mind is being established. In the body mind of the Buddhas, the Bodhi mind is being established. In the very flesh, skin, bones, and marrow of the Buddhist patriarch, the Bodhi mind is being established. Thus, our present building of stupas, building of Buddhas, and so on are just the establishment of the Bodhi mind itself. They are the establishment of the mind which leads directly to realization of Buddha. And we must never abandon them midway. So this this practice that we do, or the practice, I guess, as well as attaining the way, is actually it's just being present for this becoming, or this aspiring, they say. And this is what we do in our practice of Zazen, or of just sitting. So we experience, we physically experience this coming and then this going. Or you would say we physically experience duality, and at the same time not duality. When we sit, of course we sit down, and then when we sit, there's thoughts then that come, they arise, right? They come, they arise, and then they appear, and then you feel your body sit, and then the thought will actually return to where it came from. It returns to emptiness, or actually it disappears. So this is the aspiring, or the realizing. It's actually realizing. So the aspiring, it comes up, and then also it goes away. So all the clouded thoughts that we have, then we let them go. This is letting go. Maybe in the day we had a heated argument or a problem to solve, and then it arises, and then it gets you, and you grab onto it, right? And then you notice your body get tense, and then you breathe in, and then you breathe out, and then you let it go. You let it go. You bring the crown of the head, your head up towards the sky, and then you look at the wall, and then the wall appears. So it's catch and release. That's what a catch and release. I don't know. Zazen becomes Zazen when you just see what's in front of you, and it's beautiful that way, because it brings you back to this arousing, you would say the supreme mind. And that's what we're doing. I don't want to say what we're doing, but that's what's aspiring and becoming. So this, yeah, I keep on saying excitement, but it's arousing. Arousing is a cultivating. It's establishing, in which it's stable, but at the same time it has a direction. So we do this millions and millions of times over and over and over again. And so our practice of just sitting, is actually attaining the way. But it's extremely important to I don't want to say hold this practice close to you, but then I do want to say that. Because this turns into realizing every instant that we live then becomes actually the Buddha's path, the Buddha's way. And this is a very deep and profound way of living. But it's not changing your life at all. It's living very vibrantly from this way of becoming or arising. So Shakyamuni Buddha, he sat down, and the Buddha, when the morning star appeared, then he said simultaneously, I and all things and all beings achieve simultaneously, though, achieve this attainment. But at the same time, it's all things that achieve, all things simultaneously. We think we can only think, oh, the Buddha achieved it, or we achieve it. It's only in a time frame. But it's the spontaneity, and it's the simultaneity of this achieving, or it's the simultaneity of this training, or this practice, or nirvana. It all arises at the same time. So it all is seen at the same time. Like Roshi says, it's when the star saw the Buddha. So in our practice, it's not our practice, the universe's practice. But then, yes, it is our practice. Each one of us needs to do it. You need to do it, but at the same time, you don't need to do it. Don't do it. And it's something that's very, very difficult to understand as human beings. When we sit zazen, it's not something that we do. It's not self-directed. So to study the self is to forget the self, and then we go, okay, I'll forget the self, and let's sit zazen so I can forget the self. And so that's already a concept, that's already a concept. So, but it's a direct experience. Our life is a direct experience. And when it's direct, it's very simple, it's very plain, it's very straightforward. And then we just be there. We're just being there. but every instance, that's very important. It's awakening, it's arousing, or it's establishing then this attainment of the way, and then it goes on and on. So it's a continuous practice. It's a continuous practice, but it doesn't come from anywhere else. It doesn't come from, also it doesn't come from you at all. It's not outside, nor is it inside. Um, yeah, so it's a forgetting, of the self, but at the same time, this forgetting of the self is, I keep on going back to, it's this aspiring, but this aspiring then embraces all the conditions that we have. It embraces the big, it embraces the small, it embraces the five aggregates, you know, it embraces our delusion, our enlightenment. And then this is how we have it. This is an ultimate freedom when we do things in life in which then we aspire to that. So it's a goal and it's an aim, but then it's not. And it is so subtle that we tend to not see it, at all, not see the train stop. We want to get to the mountain, to get to Kipoji. We want to catch the train on time. So it's yeah, it's the practice, you know, the deeper that we 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 practice, or the deeper uh the the more and the more we practice, like kneading bread, right? The more you knead bread, but then when you put it in the oven, then there's something magical that happens to it in the oven. We don't know what happens, you know. We know all the ingredients, and you knead it, and you put it in the oven, you let it go, and then the it rings, and then you open up the oven, and then boom, there's a there's a loaf of bread. But it's the magic and the wonder that happens. So the more that we practice, we find that there is a bottomlessness, or there is a greatness, and also there's a wideness to this practice, because it's great. You know, it's inconceivable. And it's so great that we feel an incompleteness, but this incompleteness, at the same time, it's a wholeness that we feel. So it is our greed, anger, and ignorance that have brought us to this very moment, practicing together. Um, so this incompleteness, or this greed, anger, and ignorance, which actually brings us to practice, we have it, and then also we let go of it. And this depth that we feel, or the mountains that we see from afar, they become close. And this can not only be but a magnet then, that we live our way in this life. Then it draws you, life draws you that way. So then you're pulled by it. You cannot help yourself but be pulled by this goodness, be pulled by the goodness of all activities, of all things. You know, they say the walls, tiles, pebbles, grasses, trees, moon, sun, rivers, then it pulls you. But it pulls you because you, like Roshi says in his book, it pulls you because this is an active participation in loss. We're giving up ourselves, and we're offering ourselves to the supreme way. And then it pulls you, or there's this aspiring to be, you know, and that's it's a very deep, it's a very, very deep way of living. You know, it's so profound that it's wordless at the same time. I mean, all the words that I say is not, it's not any of it at all. It doesn't amount to any of it, but then it is each one of our practice as individuals, and then coming back to the instance of your life, you know, one thing after another thing after another thing. But then it's not, then it's not, don't do it. So, so I guess going back to the metaphor of like seeing the mountains from afar is it's 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 a practice that brought us here right now. On Zoom, it's a practice that we're on Zoom because we chose to follow this way, and then also to cultivate it. So it was our choice to turn on the computer, right? To be with each other, to aspire. We inspire each other. So it is your doing, right? But 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 the it is your doing to be here, but then the computer made you be here, right? It's the pandemic that actually made you be here. It's the chairs in which I see in your kitchens that made you be here. It's the speakers that you sit in front of. It's the candles that you sit in front of. It's the bookshelves that you sit in front of made you be here. So then it's not what made you be here. So it's not your doing, it's everything. It's everything is doing. So it's the doing of everything doing that made us be here. So it's anyways, you can see that I get excited about this. Maybe my excitement is very small, but I'm happy. I am happy to share this with you, and this reading that I've been studying for this week. So let's see. I can. So to go deep into the mountains to consider the Buddha's truth may be easy, but to build stupas and to build Buddhas is very difficult. Although each is accomplished through diligence and tirelessness, actively grasping the mind and being grasped by the mind may be much different. Through the piling up of arousing the supreme mind or the Bodhi mind, all Buddhas are realized in this practice. Thank you.